Welcome back to the deep dive. It is Wednesday, January 28th, 2026. And if you were with us last week, you'll remember we were talking about the Russian economy.
We were.
We used this metaphor of an engine, seizing up, redlining the car until it just stops.
Right. That was based on the 0.1% growth figure. Stagnation.
Well, today I think we have to update that metaphor because based on the new data, the check engine light isn't just flickering anymore.
No, it feels more like the radiator just blew.
It's overheating.
It's definitely overheating. We finally have the complete deficit numbers for 2025, and they really paint a picture of a system just burning through cash.
And that's really just the first part of our conversation today because while Russia is running hot, we need to pivot east to China.
Where things are going cold.
The silent crisis. That's our theme today, really. Fragility disguised as strength.
It's a tale of two different problems. In Russia, you have this war economy that looks busy, but it's completely hollow.
And in China, you have a growth number that looks fantastic on paper. But when you scratch the surface,
The consumer has just gone home. They've checked out.
one is a loud inflationary burnout. The other is a quiet deflationary slide.
Exactly.
So let's start with the noise. Let's go back to Russia. We talked about that military spending sugar rush wearing off. We now have the receipt for it, don't we?
We do. The Ministry of Finance just released the confirmed numbers for the full 2025 budget deficit. Moscow is in the hole for 5.6 trillion rubles.
5.6 trillion. Okay, help contextualize that. Is that
No,
normal?
no, not at all. That's about 2.6% of their GDP. It is the largest deficit they have posted since 2006.
Wow, so nearly 2 decades of that, fortress Russia strategy.
All that careful fiscal discipline, hoarding cash,
It's basically gone.
it's gone. And you have to look at why. It's really a pincer movement. On the one hand, spending is way up.
The war.
Of course, the war. Defense and security are eating something like 7 to 10% of their entire GDP.
That's the hollow economy we talked about. You're building things just so they can get blown up.
Precisely. It's cannibalizing the budget. But the other side of the pincer is the killer. It's the revenue collapse. Their oil and gas revenues plunged about 24% below target.
So they're spending more than ever and earning way less than they planned.
A recipe for disaster.
So how do you plug a 5.6 trillion ruble hole? I mean, do you just print money?
They're doing a bit of everything. They are absolutely draining their sovereign wealth funds, raiding the piggy bank.
And when that runs out?
They turn on the population. And this is where we see this new dynamic that independent analysts are starting to call tactical poverty.
Tactical poverty, that sounds grim. What does that actually mean?
It's all about the business climate. So for the last couple of years, you had this wage race. The army needed men, factories needed workers, so wages went up.
Right, creating this illusion of prosperity, the 3% unemployment rate.
But that race is over. Companies can't afford it anymore. They can't pass the costs to consumers who are already tapped out.
So what happens?
Wage arrears.
Just a polite term for we're not paying you on time.
Exactly. It's a classic sign of a system-wide cash crunch.
Right.
You have a job on paper, but the paycheck is 2, then 3 weeks late.
So businesses are staying afloat at the expense of their workers.
That is tactical poverty. The employment stats look fine, but people are basically lending their labor to their employers for free.
And all the while, prices are still going up. I saw this note about the egg and potato index.
It's always the staples, isn't it? They tell you the real story.
They really do. So the government is saying inflation is, what, 5 or 6%?
Yeah, that's the official line. But if you survey households, what people actually feel inflation is, they'll tell you it's 13 to 14%.
That is a huge disconnect.
And the government knows it. That's why they just slap price controls on eggs and potatoes. You don't do that if the market is healthy.
You do that when you're afraid of riots.
Potato riots, in this case. And yet you turn on state TV, and they're bragging about a 10% GDP gain over 3 years.
Which independent analysis says is just not true.
It's a fantasy. It's a recession being masked by spending on artillery shells.
And to make matters worse, the squeeze from the West isn't letting up. There's a big update from just 2 days ago, right? January 26th.
A huge one. And it follows directly from what we talked about last week. We discussed that oil refining loophole closing.
The energy laundering.
Right. Well, on Monday, the EU Council went even further. They formally adopted the regulation to phase out all Russian gas.
All of it. I thought countries like Hungary were blocking that.
They tried. They voted against it tooth and nail, but it passed anyway.
How?
EU bureaucracy. They used a qualified majority vote, so the dissenters couldn't stop it.
Oh.
The law is adopted.
What's the timeline on that?
LNG stops end of 2026. Pipeline gas stops late 2027. This is really the end of Russia's energy leverage over Europe. It's over.
That's massive. And there's more happening this Sunday, too, with the oil price cap.
Yes. This is another turn of the screw. Effective February 1st, this Sunday, the price cap on Russian oil drops. It goes from $47.60 down to $44.10 per barrel.
$44. That's incredibly low. Russia budgeted their entire year assuming oil would be $60, right?
Around $59.60, yes.
Yeah.
So every single barrel they sell now is a loss against their own budget.
And the mechanism is just brutal. If you want Western ships, Western insurance.
Which you basically need to move oil.
Oh.
You have to sell at that price, no exception.
It's a death spiral. You are selling the family silver just to buy gasoline for a car that's already driving off a cliff.
Okay, so that's the overheating engine. Let's pivot. Let's go east. Because if Russia is a loud crash, China is a slow, silent leak.
A deflationary slide. Much quieter, but it's potentially much more dangerous for the global economy.
But the headlines say 5.0% growth for 2025. 5%. Most Western countries would kill for a number like that. Is it even real?
It's real in one sense. The factories were definitely humming. Industrial output was up 5.9%. They made a lot of stuff. Okay, but
the catch is, who bought it? Because it wasn't the Chinese consumer.
What are the numbers there?
Retail sales in December 2025 were up only 0.9%.
Wait, 0.9? Less than 1%.
Less than 1%.
So you're making almost 6% more stuff, but people are only buying less than 1% more.
Exactly. The factory is running,
Yeah.
but the consumer is on strike. They are making things nobody at home is buying.
Why? What's going on? Why are people not spending?
It's confidence. Or a complete lack of it. You have the property crisis, people feel poorer. But the real issue, the one that truly terrifies Beijing, is youth unemployment.
The 1 in 6 number.
The 1 in 6 number. Remember, they got so bad in 2023 that they just stopped publishing the data for a while.
The old, if you don't measure it, it's not a problem trick.
Right. Well, the data's back, and it's just as ugly. December 2025, unemployment for 16 to 24-year-olds is 16.5%.
1 in 6 young people.
These are college grads, right?
These are college graduates who did everything they were told to do, studied hard, got the degree, and now there are no jobs for them. That lie flat culture we keep hearing about.
Tang ping. It's a totally rational response. If the promise of work hard, get rich is broken, why bother with the rat race?
It's a social time bomb. But there was another data point in here that I found even more startling. It was about the migrant workers.
Ah, yes. This is the canary in the coal mine. This is one that really signals deep structural rot.
The warning from the Ministry of Rural Affairs.
Right, so the Lunar New Year is coming up. It's normally the biggest human migration on the planet.
Workers going from the coastal factories back home to their villages.
But the ministry has put out a warning. They're saying that after the holiday, a huge number of those workers might just stay home.
They won't come back to the cities?
They might not. Cross-province migration has already dropped from 47% of the rural workforce down to 38%.
That's a reversal of decades of urbanization. The story of modern China was people moving from farms to cities.
And that's not just stopping, it's going backwards. Reverse urbanization. The jobs in construction and manufacturing are gone, so they stay in the village where it's cheaper to live.
That implies your whole growth model is broken.
It is. The engine of China's rise is stalling. You are admitting that your modern economy can no longer support your population.
Okay, so let's tie this all together. What are the strategic implications here?
Well, with China, you have all this industrial output and no one to buy it. So where does it go?
It has to be exported.
They have to dump it. Steel, solar panels, you name it. They sell it abroad at rock-bottom prices.
Which creates trade wars, tariffs.
Exactly. The U.S., Europe, they're all putting up walls. So that export-led recovery is completely unsustainable.
And what about the dictator's dilemma, the political risk?
Let's start with Russia. Putin's dilemma is he can't stop the war.
Because the war spending is the economy now.
Correct. If he stops, the spending stops, the GDP vanishes, and the zombie economy collapses. He's riding a tiger, and he absolutely cannot get off.
And for Xi Jinping in China?
His dilemma is different. The Communist Party's entire legitimacy is based on a deal. We stay in power, you get richer.
The social contract. Economic competence.
But that contract is fraying. Badly. Jobless youth, angry homeowners whose apartments are worthless. The competence is being questioned.
So what's the risk?
Nationalism. If you can't deliver prosperity, you deliver national pride. Or you create a distraction.
Taiwan.
It's the classic playbook. As the economic pressure builds at home, the temptation to ratchet up tensions over Taiwan just grows and grows. It's a very useful distraction.
It's a terrifying thought. So bringing it all together, Russia overheating, China cooling down, both are hiding the damage.
Hiding it behind propaganda and official stats. But if you look closely, they're both hollow.
Hollow economy.
For Russia, it's hollowed out by war. They are literally burning their future to fuel the present.
And for China?
It's hollowed out by a lack of confidence. The factories are still there, the machines are running, but the people, the soul of the economy, they've lost faith. And you can't fix that with a government stimulus package.
A really sobering update for January 28th, 2026. That's it for this deep dive. Here's something to think about. If both these economies are this fragile, why do they work so hard to project strength?
Maybe the facade is the only thing left holding it all together. Fake it till you break it.
Catch you in the next deep dive.